Good evening, my name is Aaron White with White Stock and Produce. I decided to create a video blog to kind of showcase my ideas and to give you some ideas for your own operation that you could use. I hope you take my ideas, use them or tweak them, and use them so that they would be more effective and efficient in your own operation. A little background about myself: I grew up on a farm outside of Boxholm, Iowa. My stepdad raised everything from beef cattle, sheep, hogs, a little bit of goats, some chickens, and he also did row crop. And growing up on the farm was a blessing. I was able to see a lot of things that city kids don't get to see, and it's always stuck with me. Upon graduation from high school, I went into the Marine Corps. I served for 4 years. I got out and went to Simpson, became a teacher, which I currently teach, 5th grade now, and I moved out to Wyoming, lived two years out there with my wife, and then we moved back to Iowa, and I got into farming right away. My father-in-law kind of helped me out, found a lease for me, and helped me buy my first cattle herd, which was 12 cow-calf pairs, and been growing ever since. A little philosophy, White Stock and Produce philosophy. You can go to the website is www.whitestockandproduce.com. This will kind of give you an insight of how I run the operation and what I believe in. First and foremost, I believe that animal husbandry is most successful when general farming and raising of crops is used. Okay, so what I mean by that is you raise the livestock, right, and you raise crops. The crops are raised for the livestock, and then any excess bumper crop that you have, then you market to your farmers co-op or wherever. I feel that that is the foundation of farming, and I believe that traditional farming, I'm a progressive in mind, but I'm also a traditionalist. I believe in what they did 80 years ago, how they farmed 80 years ago. The farms were smaller, but it was more diversified. Now we have farms that are 1,000 acres of row crop. That's it, or 1,000 acres of pasture, and that's it. And they just raise beef cattle. Now, I feel that if they have been successful, that's good. I'm not taking anything away from them at all. But I feel for beginning farmers like myself, I need to start small. I can't buy 1,000 acres. Bank won't allow it. So you got to diversify. If you take a lump sum and you go to your broker and you're like, hey, I need to invest this money. I want to invest it into this stock. He's going to be like, wait a second, how about we spread it out between these different companies, not just this one company? He diversifies it. Anyone else would say you're crazy for just putting it into that one business. All right, that's just like farming. You got to diversify your farm. Having a little bit of row crop, a little bit of cattle, some hogs, some sheep, whatever you need, you use the crops to supplement the livestock, and then whatever's left over with the grain, you then market where you market it at, co-op or so forth. I feel that that is the best way that you can have a sustainable farm. Right now we're seeing just under $4 corn, and the cattle market is sky high. Okay, now this is good for livestock beef farmers, whereas row crop farmers are kind of scratching their head from the $7 corn that was happening 2 years ago. So this is just an idea to keep in mind that if you have a little bit of this and a little bit of that, you kind of even things out versus having all of this or all of that. It kind of helps you become more sustainable. I also feel that the United States has some of the best forage crops and pasture in the world. We've been in this country and from the East Coast to the West Coast, we see farms all across in different. They're doing different operations and enterprises, and I feel that those farms have been blessed with where we live. we got to be we got to take advantage of that, but we have to be stewards of the land. So this video is just to kind of give you an idea of what I plan to be shooting my videos on in the future. I plan on doing some videos on mob grazing, kind of giving my philosophy, soil building, how to create better soil, multi-species grazing, calving, feed and feed stuff, beef genetics, linear measurements, bale grazing in the wintertime to help build the soil, and then of course equipment innovations. I feel that a lot of us beginning farmers, we don't have a lot of capital, so we got to come up with new ways of creating the equipment that would be successful on our farm and get the job done. So we'll have some videos on different equipment innovations. Some resources that you can look into. I got a couple books here. The very first book that I purchased after I got my cows was this Grass-Fed Beef. It's a great book. It talks about everything from management to marketing, and it kind of just gives you basic ideas on how to become successful in your grass-fed cattle operation. You can apply this to any type of livestock operation. You can apply it to your sheep, goats, or even hogs if you want to do a grass-fed, pasture-raised hogs operation. So that was my very first purchase, and it's been good. That's my reference for certain ideas that I come up with, and I want to see what they have in mind, and it's a good thing. I've been reading a little bit on Gerald Fry, and he talked about this book at one point in time, and he talks about how we've gone to the extreme of heavy milking cows, and heavy milking cows, it takes body condition away from the cow, which then affects the rebreeding of that cow. Well, he talks about low milk production with high butter fat. And this book right here was written by a gentleman in France a long time ago. And he kind of talks about how to identify those cows. So this is a good one. And we'll be talking about this later as well. And then this book I purchased a long time ago. It's called Feeds and Feeding. And it was first printed in 1920. This is the 20th edition. So it's a fairly old book. But I know that this talks everything from you know, plant matter to the different nutritional qualities that a plant has. So from brome grass to sorghum to Sudan grass, it talks about the different nutritional qualities and how you can pair them up so that you'll have a well-rounded nutritional plan for your livestock. It goes the livestock's everywhere from cattle, hogs, sheep, to horses, and even dairy cattle as well. And that's been a great book to read and kind of see how they used to do it in the past. Some other resources that I will refer you to is the Practical Farmers of Iowa. That's been a great resource for myself. I refer to them. I've made some great friendships, and we bounce ideas off each other. And the Practical Farmers of Iowa, they hold a massive conference every February, and they also have many conferences throughout the year and pasture walks and so forth, so you can get better idea of how to operate your farm. Another resource, since I am a veteran, is the Farmer Veteran Coalition. It's been a fantastic resource as well. They also provide a label now called the Homegrown by Heroes. You can look that stuff up on their website. It's fvc.org, and that is, if you are a veteran, I highly suggest you guys look into that. It kind of points you in the right direction, and some states have a chapter. Iowa is fortunate; we do have a chapter, so that's been a blessing. But some states don't quite have a chapter yet, so you could be one of the farmers that actually get that going. So anyway, I plan on my next video will be on mob grazing. I'm going to show you kind of my operation and how I run it, and you guys can expect that here within the next week or so. So I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching this video, and I hope you guys take something from it and apply it to your operation. Happy farming. Thank you.